Manchester United 3, Burnley 1. A comfortable win for Manchester United. One of the first comfortable wins we've had all season, at home, away, wherever. And some good performances in there as well. Ange and Ryan both joined me. How nice was it watching Man United win a game? And for the most part, we'll get into some of the problems and chances. But for the most part, Ange, looking comfortable. It was quite easy. It was stress-free. You could actually enjoy your evening rather than biting your fingernails till the final whistle.
Yeah, I've actually, been here and enjoyed a game. It's a very strange feeling, but I'm very happy about it. It's good to see. Like I said, previously on the watch-along, we wanted a little bit of a reaction from Man United. It would have been lovely if it had been like a 5-0 or something like that. But you know what? You've got to take the little wins at this point. And, it was a very much changed team. We got to see some really impressive performances from some individuals, some good goals. Shame that it couldn't have been more. A few mistakes here and there, a few issues. But you know what? On the whole, we've got 3 points. And it's a good way to kind of just like end this year and hopefully start the new year with some better performances.
Yeah, especially after that Newcastle game. Like we said, there were some mistakes, there were some problems. We'll get to those. But just having a game that wasn't stressful, wasn't horrible, nice change of pace and much needed after some of the criticism we saw after Newcastle won it.
I think we're all sat here, we're having a laugh, we're having a joke, we're talking about, on the watch along, and it's great, the lads are taking care of the job, 3-1, comfortable. Like we've said, it wasn't entertaining, it wasn't the performance that we necessarily wanted, but it's 3 points. Yep. It's a reaction. Like Ange said, some good performances. Scott McTominay, man of the match, well deserved. Yeah, great performance. So listen, let's not complain about it. 3 points on the board. Go into the new year, bit of confidence.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? McTominay, he's someone who's had a lot of stick recently. Yep. Him and Fred, both kind of swinging wildly back and forth in terms of public favour. Some games it looks like they're brilliant. This great off the ball partnership, working really well together. Other games wasteful. Lacking that sort of composure on the ball. Today, he was probably at his best in the opposition or in the final third. 3 great shots, two of them leading to goals. 1 goal for him, one the goalkeeper saved it onto the post. Ronaldo tapped it in. But all over the pitch, you said it for about 15 minutes. Brilliant. He was excellent, wasn't he?
Brilliant. You, like I said 15 minutes, and it was evident for us to see. Yeah. Heavily involved in everything. You've got to have a look at his touch maps to see he's heavily involved in both halves. I think it summed it up in the last 5-10 minutes where he's absolutely smashed someone and the fans are up, and it just great performance from the lad. And like you said, you just get a lot of stick. Him and Fred, they do get a lot of stick. We're playing for Man United. We've had some great midfielders over the years, and these lads are now in there. But we'll have a look at his highlights now. Both boxes, driving forward, nice through balls, assists. His shooting today was brilliant. That whip technique, using the defenders to whip around the ball for his goal, as we're seeing now. And brilliant. I thought it was fantastic today, and he deserves the recognition and fair play to him. Yeah, very positive performance for him today. Yeah, and
like you said, it's not been his best season so far. Like I think he's probably been worse than he was last season. Yeah, but that sort of performance is the exact thing he needs, isn't it? And like you go into these games where, especially after the back of the Newcastle game, there was so much pressure on the team, so much sort of just bad feeling, bad will amongst fans and supporters. You're watching, thinking this is going to be really tight, really horrible today, and then he steps up with a performance like that. Does it sort of frustrate you that we don't see it more often in a way? Because we can't sit here now and say he's been brilliant all season, he's the new Roy Keane because of a performance like that. But if we could get that sort of level 2 out of 3 out of 5 games, if you see that more consistently, then you do have yourself a good midfielder. Can we see that more often from him, or is it always going to be the case of 2 good or 2 bad, 1 good? Like, can he get more consistent?
It's frustrating because I'm always kind of the opinion of, some players that have already left, some players that are potentially going to be going out the door. When you see those kind of players that, it's very in and out, you don't really know where you stand. It does get frustrating. And then it gets to a point where you think, well, you know what? If you're not performing to this highest level consistently, then maybe you shouldn't even, be in the team. And I'm not saying that about him at all, but that's normally the path that it kind of goes down. And I would really hate to see that, because I do think, as he's proven, he has the talent, and maybe this is now a job for Ralph Rangnick to take a look and be like, you know what? Whatever has happened tonight, this kid has seriously performed. I now need to look at tactically how we can keep this going, and how we can continue getting the best out of him. Whether it's because Fred wasn't there or not, it's up for debate. But yeah, no, really impressed with him, and I just agree. I would really, really like it to continue. Whether it will or not, I don't know. I really hope it will.
Yeah. Matic, I thought, was really good next to him as well. Just composed. All the things you look at Matic and say, on his day, he can do this. Keeps the ball well. He has that composure. He's good in the air. He's physically very good. We saw the best of him today. Those two in there. Nice. Before the game, you sat there thinking, these two, they're a bit slow, they're a bit sluggish, bit of land of the giants, Against this sort of team, and you sort of have to go to Rangnick for this, the game plan, the personnel-wise, really sort of paid off today, didn't it?
Yeah, Matic, he's a steady head, he's experienced, he keeps the ball really well. It's that calm influence, and I think that does Scott the world of good, because Scott's got the energy, like we've seen today, and he just sits there, he breaks the lines with his play. I think them two in there done a good job today. Scott was more the standout-ish, but Matic did his job, and that's all you can ask for when you pick the team, and he relies on them two individuals to do a job, dealing with a lot of second balls, and they did that, and they played the stuff, and like you said, it was a boring game, but it's a 3-1 win at home. Like I said, we're having a laugh here. We're watching it. We're not really.
It's good though, isn't it?
It's good. It's nice, and like you said, other teams, the top teams, They have that where they've killed the game off last 30 minutes. You don't need to worry about absolutely a thing, and I think that's what we've done today. Yeah,
exactly. And that's the crucial thing to see there. Man of the match, Scott McTominay. I just think that, like we said before, the fact that we can have a boring game after how sort of topsy-turvy and just up in the air that Newcastle game was from start to finish, it was absolutely massive. It was so important. Rangnick having a game where we score more than one goal for a start. It's a shame we didn't get a clean sheet, but we probably didn't deserve one. But scoring multiple goals, winning games comfortably at Old Trafford, bouncing back after what was a shocking performance. Because I was part of, there's talk after this game, after the Newcastle game, of players throwing managers under the bus, bad attitudes, all these things going into training. They're not happy with the training methods. They're not happy with this, not happy with that. And that's the kind of talk that you see when things are starting to melt down. And I'm not saying that those stories were true, but that's all of a sudden the newspapers are full of why everything's going wrong at Manchester United under Ralph Rangnick. Then you just get a nice, boring, comfortable 3-1 win. That's exactly what we needed. And I'm so happy to see that, because we might hopefully just be able to have a few days where we go, we're just a normal football club who's trying to win games, rather than everything's exploding. Rangnick shit, they hate him already. Ronaldo wants to go to Barcelona. Like, all these things. We can just have a normal week.
The lads need to just do what they've done tonight. Let the football do the talking. At the end of the day, we are a massive club, we are going to get a lot of rumours, and things are just, news is going to spiral out of control. That's just the nature of Manchester United. But them lads do what they've done today, 3-1 win at home, and keep the consistency, and the lads that have performed well keep that consistency. We won't have no problems with it.
Two of the big talking points, one of the big talking points before the game was the fullbacks. Shaw, Wan-Bissaka both coming back in for Tellez and Dalla respectively. Ange, thoughts on both of those on coming back in? These have been United's first choice partnership not really a partnership, but first choice fullbacks for the last 2 years. Coming back in today, thoughts on Shaw and Wan-Bissaka?
Was really impressed with Luke Shaw. It was kind of a nice fit that we'd spoken about it, before the game as well, of how he has had a little bit of a dip, but can he come back? And he's proved that tonight. Really impressive performance, in my opinion, especially when you look at some of the recent games that he's had. Really happy with that. The thing with Wan-Bissaka is, it wasn't absolutely shambolic, but it also wasn't on the same level as Shaw. And it's kind of like, I think you touched on it, Ryan, it's kind of like the mistakes that you expect from him. He was just kind of delivering what we've been used to. Does that mean that he should start the next game? I'm not too sure with that one, because I don't know if he did quite enough. But for Luke Shaw, definitely should be in, featuring in the next game. And I think, like we said, seeing him and Sancho link up, the runs that he was making, we've definitely been lacking that. So it was really good to see it, and to see that he can still deliver that.
Yeah, Shaw was good, wasn't
he? Yeah, Shaw was very good. We touched on it before the game about, them being the outlet. And I think if you talk about Shaw, his involvement, working with Sancho, and his runs, his overlaps, his directness, the way he used the ball, defended well. I think, again, both halves, Shaw gave a performance that was more like Luke Shaw in the Euros, more like Luke Shaw last season. And we can't... Again, he had an opportunity to impress tonight, and I think if you're looking at that, he did impress the manager. Wan-Bissaka, I'm not like Ange said, I'm not too sure he's done enough, to be honest.
No.
Like on the ball, he's without being disrespectful, he's not good enough on the ball. Defensive wise, 1v1, you can't have no complaints with him. When lads go 1v1 against him, blocks, crosses, brilliant, but you need a lot more as especially if you're playing in a system where you're relying on your wingers, your fullbacks, to play as that wing back role and provide opportunities. And Shaw did provide opportunities, had an heavy input in the game going forward. Wan-Bissaka didn't. Yeah. Sancho, when he's playing a pass back to the keeper with his left foot, he's going out of play. Yeah. I know you're tired, mate, but that shouldn't happen.
And then the first half, the amount of times where the ball was sort of bouncing, or the ball's been played to him, and not every pass you receive, especially as a fullback, is going to be under straight pressure. To feet, on the floor, easy, nice to control. Sometimes you're going to be under pressure. Yeah. Sometimes the ball's going to be bouncing or in the air. You've got to be able to control the ball with your chest. You've got to be able to find accurate passes with your head. It's not just if it's not coming straight to me, I can't control it. And too often with Wan-Bissaka at the moment, or generally, the ball comes to him even if it's remotely sort of suboptimal, he just makes a meal of it. And like the ball's bouncing, he just boots it up in the air. No attempt to control it, no attempt to get it down. That needs to improve, doesn't it?
The technical aspects, especially as an elite player playing for Manchester United. And that's the difference between, Dalot's got his opportunity. He took it, he brought him out tonight. But at the end of the day, Dalot technically is much better, and going forward he'll provide you a lot more. But Dalot doesn't give you what Wan-Bissaka does defensively. So the system that he's playing, what do you want? Do you want a fullback that can attack, or do you want a fullback that can defend? And that's up to the manager to identify what he wants as a fullback.
Loads of talk about Maguire in the comments. Interestingly, his sort of mistakes were kind of masked, but there were mistakes again, weren't there? And this form that he's in, I can't really get my head around it. I wonder if it would benefit him to be dropped for a while, but he sort of can't be dropped at the moment because Lindelof's out, and then Bailly looks like he's injured now. But even if he's not injured, he's going to the AFCON, so he's not available. Mm-hmm. Basically, if you're not playing Maguire, you're playing Phil Jones, and maybe some people would say, well, let's play Phil Jones then. But that doesn't seem to be that's not going to happen. But this drop in form. And again, multiple times tonight, Wood's making him look a bit of an idiot. He's missing headers. He's getting turned. He looks slower than ever. He's always been slow, but now he looks twice as slow as he ever did. He's not reading the game as well. How can we explain what we're seeing with him? Because we're saying with Shaw in terms of the drop-off, but Maguire sort of played through it and hasn't seemingly got any better. Like, I can't really believe what I'm seeing week in, week out. Yeah. Multiple basic errors over and over and over again. What is going on?
It's a tough one, really, because it's like, I know a lot of people get on this train of like, oh, how stupid Man United are. I can't believe they paid all that money and they brought him in. When we brought him in, everyone thought it was the smartest move since sliced bread had that really smart move. Good. So, everyone thought it was a great signing. And then, we brought Varane in and it was like, could this be now the perfect partnership? Yeah. Because the excuses were Maguire doesn't have the perfect partner. Now they've got, Varane, a very, for his age, experienced defender that has won a lot of trophies. Yeah. Fair enough, we haven't actually managed to see them really working together that much. But I feel like there has been a few excuses, but I do get a little bit annoyed when people, normally not United fans, try and take the mick out of us and say like, oh, it was a stupid signing. At the time, it wasn't. Yeah. Has it gone according to plan? Definitely not. Obviously, I know that there was was it last season when he had the injury, that he was playing through the injury and all that type of stuff. And it does seem like there are moments where I don't even want to think how many games I could count where we've seen the Harry Maguire that we saw at Leicester. Do you know what I mean? I don't think we've really seen that player completely yet. Why? I'm not too sure. Maybe it is the partnership. Maybe it is injuries. Maybe the fact that he's just out of form. Maybe he's struggling. I don't know. But I agree in that I think it would be very interesting to drop him and to see what would happen. It just gets very frustrating, kind of like the Luke Shaw thing, where you see him have these good games. In my opinion, it's still not brilliant, but we're seeing good games and then it dips. And And maybe the answer is to drop him, but like you say, we can't really do that at the moment. So,
like, what do you make of it? Because I think last season, again, same thing. It's almost the Luke Shaw thing repeated. Yeah. Very good mostly last season. He started poorly, then he got played through his form, and I think it was Newcastle he scored against last season before Christmas. And after that, I thought he was brilliant. Up to the point where general consensus was if he'd have played in the Europa League final, we'd have had a much better chance of winning, especially the way the goal went in. But this season, it's just terrible. I don't really understand it.
I think he's got that. I'm not saying it's an added pressure, but I think he's got that. He's a captain of the football club. I don't agree with that. And it was a bit of when it happened, it was like, well, who else do you give it to?
Yeah, there wasn't an obvious candidate.
It wasn't an obvious candidate, and I get that. But again, if Rangnick's going to have his philosophy where he's playing people's own performances, then if he had someone ideally to replace him, he probably would be under the cosh a little bit. He probably would be taken out. But like we talked about at the start of the game, there's no one to really come in apart from Phil Jones. And are we going to be happy about that? Like, is he going to break down, or is that going to happen?
You could maybe go Mengi, but again, that's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, it's a lot of
coming
pressure.
in and replacing club captain.
He needs to. Yeah. Mengi's road path would be to just drop him in, drop him out. That development, maybe go out on loan again, and then them gradually get him in. I just don't feel like, especially like you're looking at him tonight, Woods is giving him an hard time. Aaron Lennon squaring him up and going past him too easy. It's just too easy. Like you look at the Newcastle game, he's making daft decisions, even on the ball. Like I look at him on the ball for the Maguire at Leicester, where he's just nice and calm, he's composed, and even for England, he's great. For England,
scoring
nice
every
and
week.
Nice and composed. For us, his decision making and the way he uses the ball, he looks dead slow, sluggish. Yeah, I don't know. At the moment, I'm not a big fan of Harry Maguire.
No.
Hopefully that changes.
Yeah, same. Do you think this takes a bit of pressure off Rangnick? Obviously not job. He's not going to lose his job kind of pressure, but just there was a bit of a build-up of questioning of tactics, questioning of personnel, questioning of styles and systems. Not the best game, not the best performance, as we've said, but a comfortable win just eases things off a little bit, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like you say, I don't think people were, probably some people are calling for him to be sacked, but, I don't, like you say, it was never really to that level, but all we want to see as a pure basic is some kind of improvement.
Yeah.
There's a lot of positives that I see in this manager, in little things like with the press conferences. He's straight up, he's honest, and all that type of stuff. And he seems to be, extremely focused on this task in hand. And at the end of the day, the results haven't been perfect against, teams that are towards the bottom of the table. But, it's been draws and wins in the league. And since Newcastle, there has been, was it the most perfect game tonight? No, but there was a vast improvement compared to Newcastle. And I think that's all you can ask for. Yes, that he's only had, a couple of games. There's been, the training ground being closed, players being ill, all that type of stuff, which I think has been working against him. And maybe we would have seen something better had that of all, not happened. But, basic thing, have United improved since their last game? Yes. So for me, I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
And it's a reaction as well.
Yeah.
It's a reaction. That's what the fans want. They want a wholehearted performance, committed, working hard, and that's listen. It wasn't the most exciting. We all know that, but it's a 3-1 win. Yeah. We move on. No, I just feel like he's come in and he's brought his philosophy with him. It's going to take time. He's going to be. He's steadied the ship, and he's got to come in now and make tough decisions. And I think he's started to do that with his team selections, and hopefully that continues because it can't carry on. Players ruling and picking them when they're playing and attitudes and this and that. Someone needs to come in and have that authority figure, like a Fergie, like someone like him who can, a bit of a fear factor as well. Like you talk about, not a fear where you can't play your own game, but thinking if I'm not on it here, I'm out of the team. I think that's important.
Yeah, it is. And 8 games undefeated now for United, which is good. A step in the right direction. And I think that's the thing, isn't it? The progress isn't every single game you get better. The progress is sometimes you're a bit better, bit worse, better, worse, better. But the overall trend is we're improving, we're going in the right direction. 8 games unbeaten. I know some of those were under Michael Carrick. Still undefeated as manager of Manchester United, Ralph Rangnick. Some of the criticism, some of the talk of things breaking down behind the scenes, I think was absolutely overblown. And like we said before, it's great that Man United can actually just win a game comfortably, easy, move on to the next one. Thank you, Ange. Thank you, Ryan, for coming down tonight.
No
Finally, gave you a win.
Gave us a win.
Thank you.
Fun game to watch. Thank you to everyone for watching at home. We're back tomorrow with the news and all sorts of other good stuff that brew as well. Thank you for joining us. Manchester United 3, Burnley 1. We can all breathe a sigh of relief after the Newcastle performance. We'll see you in a bit.